Hello, and welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Bad Beard, and on today's podcast, we will be talking to Dream Beard. Yes, that's right, the two beards have come together, not just for the music video that you saw at the beginning of this video, but also a great conversation. We talk about beards, obviously, the business, music, and even his background in the church. So super excited to share, and the space that we shot in, Soapbox Studios, if you're just listening, it's wild. So make sure you check out the video, and look forward to seeing you next time. And just like that, we are recording. Coming in hot. Dream Beard,
Let's go, bro.
Bad Beard.
I love it.
It was an interesting introduction, because what are the chances that two beards unite?
Yeah, I know, man, for sure. Like that was so cool, Brent. Shout out to Brent.
Where you at, Brent?
Yeah, where you at? where you at, boy? But yeah, that was such a cool connection, you know, because I didn't know what you did, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so we're hanging out. You come to the studio. I'm showing you this place. We're talking about stuff, and then I get.
And we'll talk about this space. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll get there. And but yeah, man, just like being able to connect with you was super sick. And now we've already got to create together, and it's been just all good vibes. I love it.
Well, let's just jump in. Who the hell are you, man?
Good.
No, not how. Who?
Oh.
I know how you're doing.
It's like, how are you, man? No, man. I mean, so I go by Dream Beard. That's what most people call me, Dream Beard. You want me to tell you, like, I was born in 17? No, but,
no. Give me a little background.
just a
Like,
little
I'm from Saskatchewan.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm originally from Florida. Moved around a lot. Ended up in like Ohio, different places. I was actually a pastor for 10 years, so that made me move around a ton. I ended up marrying my wife.
I was catching those vibes.
Yeah, and so we ended up moving back to Atlanta, which is where we are now and where I've been for probably like 12-ish years. And so I've been here the longest, like most of my life. And but yeah, so I started a beard product company.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to give you like we can kind of like give like a quick little synopsis and then dive in.
Run through the whole.
Yeah, So basically, I started like the first beard product that was called a beard oil back in 2011. Me and my wife invented it on the dining room table of my father-in-law's house.
Cool.
With some essential oils pre-doTERRA and that whole movement.
Right.
It was actually extremely hard to find essential oils. We were like, how do we even find this, you know? And so we created that. It was super awesome. We ended up selling in 148 countries. And just, it was awesome. I sat on the board of FedEx, like worked with so many different brands, had so much fun. It ended up expanding way out of beard products. We were making custom tobacco pipes and all these different things and apparel and all that good stuff. And so I eventually, I don't want to say I got bored, but like the market became oversaturated, all these different things, and I just felt like a shifting again. Mm-hmm. You know, I've shifted.
Word got out that there was a bad beard in town.
Exactly. I was like, I got to get the hell out of here, man. And so that's when I kind of got into production, and I had always done marketing for myself, for the brand, and pictures and stuff like that, but I never thought like I should do this. And so I kind of started doing that for a few years, which led to where we're at now, which is far greater than I ever thought as far as production goes, you know, that I would be involved in. And so now we're making holograms, and we'll obviously get into that as well. But yeah, it's been a fucking ride, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a ride. That's for damn sure.
It's interesting. You wear many hats, as I do, and to have the similar name. And I was never a pastor of a church, but I've worked at several churches, and a background in churches just the same. But a lot of similarities. And so when we met, just the vibe and all the things, and beards aside, it was just like it was like love at first sight.
Hell yeah.
And so I was, after getting to know you, and then the more that we've created together, it's fun because like, what do we even talk about? We could start with the beard product. What was the jump off when you're like, it wasn't just enough to have a beard that like. I mean, it's not everybody can grow a beard, but we're blessed with an abundant follicle, count.
Yes, let's go.
What's the story with that? Where you're just like, all of a sudden you're like, I'm just gonna stop cutting it.
Yeah, exactly. So this was like really before.
You're trying to put the Dollar Shave Club out of business.
Yes, this is pre Dollar Shave. This is pre even Movember. I remember when Movember came out. It was just pre-Movember. It was just no shave November.
Right.
So it was before Movember because that ended up becoming more like
that.
a cancer thing and testicular cancer and stuff, which is cool. But like, it originally was just no shave November, and I think I had the company for about a year, and I was like, I had a beard probably about that size. And so everyone was like, man, you have a dope beard, you know what I mean? But I always get comments or whatever. But I felt like, okay, if I'm gonna be like the face of this, maybe, and at that time, I knew a lot of people. So there was like a show called Whisker Wars. And it's really dope if you've never watched it. And
like a TLC type thing?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
And it was like, it followed these dudes, and it was the original beard competitions. I mean, like OG shit. And so I got really inspired by them because I met a few of them, and I was like, they had big beards, and I was like, dude, I think I want to go like full in with this. And so I remember, it's actually kind of a crazy story because it was before I was doing Dream Beard full time. And so this was like backing up to like the decision of why I like decided to keep a beard.
Right.
But right as I had started Dream Beard, I mean, it wasn't like I was making like a shit ton of money, right? Like I was just like trying it and selling it a little bit here, making some cash, making some more, doing it here and there. And
just approaching like hirsute gentleman on the street, and you're like,
exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're doing there.
Hello, sir.
You mind if I offer you?
Mind if I take it up a notch? You know. And so I got offered a regular ass job, but I had to cut the beard.
Oh.
And it was one of the big defining moments for me where I was like, do I take this security where like I'm newly married, like, you know, and cut the beard and just fucking quit this like dream that I have? And I remember distinctively on my way to the interview, like I'll never forget it. I called my wife and I was like, I really don't think I'm supposed to take this job. And it was hard because like we needed the money.
Right.
And I was like, and she was like, fucking turn around. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, hey. And then that was the moment, probably between that was the moment where I was like, I'm gonna grow my beard out, like, and really see what this does. And like, and I committed to the company more, you know, like it wasn't just like, and I mean, we went all in. We were living with my father-in-law, so like he just like let us live there, and we just like did what we could.
Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, shout out to Pops.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, it was a crazy time in our life. We were newly married, and it was fucking so cool to be a part of an industry, watching an industry emerge. Because now it's like, I mean, dude, it was so cool to even
What year is this that you're talking?
2011-ish.
Yeah.
And so, like this was like now like big brands have beard products, you know, and it's like just like a very normal thing now. And it was cool to see how that emerged and to be a part of that in an aspect, you know.
It's funny because I couldn't imagine talking to someone more relevant talking about beards than a guy named Dreambeard.
Let's go.
And then referencing my beard. But around the same time, I graduated from college in 2010, and then went off to California. But just as you described, I mean, obviously beards have been around forever. We're not saying we made beards cool.
No,
we just make them look good.
We just make them look good.
Hey, but through that experience and that timing of things was when I had a big beard, and it was because I just similar to how I had long hair.
Yeah.
But before I met you, not long before, I had 21 inches of hair. I just didn't cut it, and then same for my beard. I didn't do anything with it, and then before I knew it, you throw a company in the mix, and you'd go to the airport, and people are like side-eyeing you, and like it was always kind of a thing that I had such a big beard where I was like, oh, and then within a short time frame, beards were the thing.
Oh yeah, it was. It happened very rapid, man. It was crazy because it was like we kind of started getting our footing, and then I'll never forget that it was like right when Duck Dynasty came out.
Okay.
So like luckily we were out, and like so things like that started happening. I remember there was this GQ magazine article where it said like beards are the new abs, and it was like in this time it was like man, if you have a beard, like you're the fucking manliest, coolest guy. And so this was all happening. I remember for about like 3-4 really good years where like it was a trendy thing, it was a cool thing, it was a respected thing, like having a beard was just like really fucking cool. And now it's like that's like dissipated, and now it's like cool, you have a beard, that's cool. But like there was definitely like a weird few years there where like people were like all about some beard shit, you know? And I just got to be a part of riding that wave, and then I finally decided to jump off and ride another wave.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. And so with beard products and everything, like what are you using right now? What's in your beard?
Dude, it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't usually tell people this, but I'm gonna release it here on this show right
That's
now.
it. Hey.
But it's actually it's not that big of a deal. I actually really don't use anything now. So I think the bigger your beard gets, you treat it more like a head hair, and not shampooing it too frequently, things like that. But I do shampoo it and condition it, things like that. I do have a leave-in conditioner that I will use sometimes. But I've just found that like my natural oils, and this is also things, it's like each person's differently, right? We all have like different genetics, and sorry for boring you about genetics right now, but like.
I don't know if you researched my show, but that's all we talk about.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel like definitely, yeah, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, definitely beards.
Beards, and then the fact that you have enough beard on your face that should replace the head hair.
Exactly, man. Yeah. I started shaving it before I needed to shave it. I do have a little spot now down there that don't grow, but
hard flex to shave your head before you have to.
Exactly, shave it before you have to. That way, when it starts falling out, people don't know. They're just like, oh yeah, like he always that's his thing. So
that's good.
But yeah, man, definitely beards were a huge part of my life.
So you rode that wave into the next iteration of experience, and you started finding your way into, at this point, it was music, or this is on the backside of your mission?
So after Dreambeard, the products, I started doing more like videography, and shooting with like different, high-level singers and different people like that, and famous people and big brands and whatnot. The musical career is actually very recent. It's only like a year old. I first picked up a mic. So I sang obviously like 20 years ago, like 10 years ago in church. And so it would have been somewhere around like 15 years ago. So I'm saying like 20 to 10, somewhere around 15 years ago, I was singing, but it was like for church. And I'm not saying like, oh, for church. I'm saying that like the genre is very specific, like, and I never sang anything outside of that. And so then I obviously, didn't go to church anymore, which that's another subject we could get into if you want. But like, I basically put the mic down, and I just like never did music. Like I played guitar, drums, piano, stopped all of it. Like I just like didn't do music, and it wasn't like a sad thing. It was just like I moved on. I started focusing on business and stuff like that. And so when I got into the production stuff, the videos and all that kind of stuff. And I got more time to be an artist again. And I think that's what really kind of gave me the confidence. And I did a lot of different things with music, but nothing really like that I would like show the world, so to speak, until recently. And so about a year ago, I picked up the mic and did like screaming and like rock vocals and it was the first time ever. And so it was kind of one of those things where I'm friends with like a bunch of like huge people in that industry, and I would just kind of show them, like, because they're like really good friends of mine. I'd be like, hey man, like I know you do this.
Hey, check out my mixtape.
You know what? Yeah, you know what it reminds me of, dude? Is someone we both like have operated cameras. It reminds me of someone like that has like some shitty little new camera or like an iPhone. Like, dude, check out this picture I took, and they want to show you because they're so excited because they know you do it, but you have to do that. You have to be like, yeah, dude, that's sick. And so that's exactly how I fucking felt when I was showing all of my friends that would do this for a living. Like I'm showing them my little mixtape. And it was so cool because they were so encouraging, and they were like, man, this is like really something, and you should pursue this, And then I got to go on stage with some of them last year and tour, and I got to go on a few tours where I got to like feature every night, and that just like really accelerated my like, oh my God, I got to do this, and so I think for me, that's where the music kind of started again, and it's been the most rewarding because I think personally expressing myself artistically through music is the most healing, exciting, ferocious, like fearless. Every emotion that I can get out through music. Yeah. And so obviously I've tried it all, right? Different mediums of art. But I feel like for me, man, music is just like, I come back to it after all these years. I'm like, man, like I missed it. And and it's cool because now I'm just focusing only on vocals. Like I'm not doing any.
You're
like,
tunneled in.
Yeah.
Well, you say that you're just focused on music and all the things, but we're sitting inside a big green box.
Yes.
Where are we? What are we doing here?
Yes, so we're at Soapbox.
And like, I probably won't spend the time on the edit, but if I snap my fingers and all of a sudden we're on the moon, I'm not gonna do that.
But yeah, man, I feel like So this is Soapbox Studios, and we are out in here in Powder Springs, in outskirts of Atlanta, and we are creating the first ever true 3D holograms. So you've probably seen the Tupac performance. There's a few other out there that you've probably seen. Those are 180 holograms. So basically, if you get past
From the crowd, I can see.
Yeah, from the crowd, I can see, this hologram. But if were backstage or the side stage, it would look like, crap. And so what these are true holograms that are fully 360. That's what we're in right now. Is a geometric alien dome, and so.
Well, and I'm shooting on these wonderful Fuji X-T4 and H2S, so there's probably enough detail for you to see that there's every little panel you see is 2 cameras, and that's down low, that's up high, and so they're looped in this room.
Yeah. So there's 2. Yeah, so there's total.
Similar to, is it like
5, 6,
when the
48
Matrix,
cameras.
the Matrix technology?
So that's actually different. So that's what they do is they set up just typical cinema cameras in a circle, and then they fire off the cameras like that, and then it gives them the ability to create a significant shot where it looks like it's kind of coming around.
Yeah.
This is shooting 48 cameras simultaneously, gathering information from a volumetric sense, so it's capturing textures, not actual like 2D footage. And so then it compiles it. There's 2 computers on each tower, and they all kind of come down to a server room into one computer, and it processes it all down into a hologram, trying to make it as easy to understand, you know. But and there's a lot more that goes on to that. But what we're specializing in is AR, so it's augmented reality. If you've never used it, it's to me it's like the future, especially with the new Apple Vision Pro and the Meta Quest. And what I believe will be coming out in the next 5 years is just regular glasses. I think AR, augmented reality, will be such a natural part of your life. You'll be walking into clubs and there'll be cool things floating around that are 3D and stuff. You'll be able to obviously answer your texts and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's where really this becomes.
That's like the scene in Back to the Future #2.
Yes.
Where the shark.
Where the shark comes out. Yes. Yeah. That's where we're headed. And so with us, we're really honed in not only on holograms but musical performances. We've done all kinds of stuff.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, this isn't your typical VR setup in the sense that it's like this is much larger.
Yes.
So you're doing more than just a single individual.
Yes, we've captured full bands, we've captured dancers, skateboarders, athletes.
So if I'm watching, I throw on my Oculus, I can see a live performance. I can interact with it, and I could
exactly.
Oh, I want to see the kick drum.
Exactly, yeah. So you can kind of come down in and get in there, and so basically that's the whole premise, is that like for the first time ever, you can put on an Oculus, put on an Apple Vision Pro, and watch an actual hologram in your living room performing. Like we just had T-Pain, he's coming out, and so it's like he's doing his new song Dreaming. It's super dope, and mad respect for him, dude. He actually ended up creating himself. He got so stoked on our technology. And you should check out his Instagram right now. It's crazy. He's talking a lot about it. But he basically took our hologram and made his own music video through Unity and Blender.
Oh, nice.
And so if you're familiar with like all this kind of 3D
because he's pretty progressive in the tech space.
He is. He's very progressive, and it blew me away and kind of inspired me. So like, definitely go watch his music video because it was all created with our holograms, and then you'll be able to obviously through our app watch this performance as an actual hologram in your living room space, wherever you're at.
Well, and what I found so fascinating about it is the AR aspects that you speak to. It's like I can, assuming I have a living room this size, I could make the band spatially this size. Alternatively, like if I'm on an airplane, I can put it on my little folding table and I can have the band right here in my hand.
Exactly.
I think that's wild. And even talking to Ryan and Kevin, right? About the future potential of all things. It's not just live music that you can witness, but like if it's a training program or some type of tutorial on something, that it's not just to watch a YouTube video. Like if I want to see a XYZ, I get that firsthand perspective and actually see it to scale what's happening. I think that's wild. Like I think it's an unavoidable future.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
All this scary AI stuff, I'm like, give me more, VR model and things like that.
Dude, and I love that you brought up AI because that's kind of what we try to separate ourselves from. So what we're doing is more for posterity, it's more longevity. And so what we're trying to do is create almost like a capsule, a moment in time of these athletes, artists, in general, where 1,000 years from now you can go watch this performance and it's actually them. I mean, think back to like if it was Mozart today. We're thinking about like who's today that's Mozart tomorrow. And so it's like, think about being able to watch them unadulterated without AI. So what we really want is like, you know, you can easily create Mozart right now with computer-generated AI, have him talk, have him play piano, have him tell you about like give you a whole lesson probably. But it's not him, and we know it's not him. But what we want is like not that AI interference, but that like actual, like we're talking to Stevie Wonder right now. It's like imagine him on the keys telling you about an experience that he had, and then like ripping it on the piano, and then like 1,000 years from now, you can still watch that. And so for us, it's more like almost like these pieces of museum content. You know, we've already been talking to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and different places like that. And so we believe that these holograms will soon also, the technology's out there. I can't speak to it too much because it's pretty like high tech.
You already told us you're not wearing any beard oil.
I know, exactly. What else can I
Spill the
tell
tea,
you?
dog.
Spill
Well,
the tea.
hey.
But there's definitely some projectable stuff that's like in
Right.
the works, and you know, where you're not going to need any glasses to watch these holograms. And I mean, it's definitely the future, and it's going to happen. It's just when and if and how much and all those kind of things. But yeah, man, it's been wild doing this. Like honestly, like it's insane.
It's been a short time that I've known you and then been familiar with the space, but just what I've seen, the developments, and as technology is exponentially, you know, advancing, it just seems so unavoidable to me in all the ways, and not in the scary ways, just like in a fun, practical way to utilize the technology. It seems like a hoot.
Yeah, dude, it's super cool. It's been surreal. I mean, we had like Shaq in, and it's like, I'm just like, what the heck? Shaq's here, and we're making a hologram. Like, it's been mind blowing, and I'm not saying that for like, oh man, Shaq came in. I mean, like genuinely, as like a kid, I watched this dude, and now he's here, and I'm like, whoa, what are we doing? Like, we're creating something that's just like beyond us, and I think for the first time ever, like as an artist, I'm completely and utterly enamored at the potential of what is going on here at Soapbox. And so definitely like check it out for sure. You know, check out the Instagram soapbox.us. Definitely check out, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think it's becoming so compelling already. We have the beta out right now that people are like buying things just to view it because it's that
When I hear 58 countries?
Yeah, 58 countries we've had people use the beta app so far. So it's like, it's doing really well. And we're about to release the final, I believe, I don't want to quote it, I don't know when this is going to air, but it's Friday to this date, maybe a week from now, we might actually launch.
Now that you mention it, I am here today, timing-wise, because next Friday is when the app is released.
The app?
Yeah, is that
Yeah,
right?
next app, yeah.
Well, that's exciting because this Friday, something else is getting released.
Let's go.
You know?
Let's go.
What are we getting on Friday?
Yeah, man, so my first technical single with just me. So I've dropped one song already in November, actually December, and so this is like my first song, man. That's just me, and it's fun. It's a rock song, and we got to make the dopest music video. Man, it was so fun, run and gun. Just like we had the blast, and I enjoyed working with you so much. It was like, because obviously I met you, we got to hang out, and it was like, man, maybe we should do this. And then I hit you, I was like, dude, should we do this? And you're like, yeah, we should do this. And I'm like, all right. And then like we just fucking did it.
Well, fortunately, I mean, I think both of our histories included. Once you do something enough times, you can just, you know what you're gonna do, so it's already orchestrated, and it's just to do it. And so you say, hey, what are you doing? I was like, we're doing it. And so
yeah, dude.
So we did it.
Yeah, and it comes out this Friday, so it'd be like March 29th, and then I'm sure by the time this airs, it'll be available on YouTube. And
yeah, I'll have this out. I do Monday releases at 5 a.m. for you early birds.
Let's go.
Every Monday. And so this one will come out this Monday.
Perfect.
Or rather, it's... Oh, no, yeah, this coming Monday. So we'll have just released, and then I can share and all things considered. I'll put it like a little excerpt at the front of the video or something like that.
Yeah, if this comes out then that means the app will be out that Friday, you know, this Friday coming up. And so it's exciting, man. Both of them are exciting. I'm so excited about the music. I got to work with, his name's Chris Link. He's in a band called Attila. So if you love like heavy stuff, you've probably heard of them. They're amazing
Florida
band.
Boys.
Florida Boys, yeah. Actually, I think they're Atlanta boys. So I think they're actually based in Atlanta. I found this out. And,
Okay.
So most of them live now in Orlando.
My experience with them in and around them and through other several mutual friends has always been in Orlando.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense. Atlanta's such a hub for all things.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, man, it's been a dream working with him. Like he's, it's one of those things where there's different types of producers, right? There's like, and that's with music and everything. And it's like, for him, he's very like from scratch. And so sometimes, they want you to have a demo ready, or they want you to be ready to record. They want you to have this left out or that or whatever. With him, it's like we show up and there's nothing. And it's like, at first that was really intimidating because I had never done that with him, And then what we made was just like pure magic. It's just like we're sitting there at the keys and he's just like playing.
So you're not just vocals, you got guitar, you got keys,
So I'm helping, but Chris is like a 10 times better musician, so I'm not gonna touch. I'm gonna let him touch it.
Here I am to worship. You got
Yeah. Oh, bro, dude.
Yeah. I see me in the back.
I got you, bro. No, but yeah. So the process of working with him on this song, "Doomed," was incredible. It's a very emotional breakup song, which is funny because I just Monday had my 12th year anniversary. So my wife's like, she's gonna be like, everybody thinks that you wrote this song about us, and I'm like, yeah. And I was like, probably, maybe, I don't know. I was like, but that's one thing is like, I know a lot of singers that don't write anything about themselves. They just write songs that they know are a part of the human condition. And I think that's kind of what I wrote "Doomed" about. It was like, it might be a relationship with a lover, with a friend, with a family member, but we've all had those moments where we're doomed, like the relationship is like fucked and it's not going anywhere ever again. It could be like a sour thing, and you're basically just like having this realization where like, we're fucking doomed, you know? And that's kind of the whole, rock song is about that. And so it has nothing to do with really my own personal relationships, but I definitely drew from like, I've had experiences like that, but I didn't like write one song. I wasn't like, I'm thinking about this person, like, it was more just like, the emotions of
a lived experience.
And so it was so much fun because normally I write most of everything lately, but with him, we write together, and it's like super cool. Call it, what I love about going back to being a pastor says, where two or more gathered, there I shall be. But then on the opposite side, in witchcraft, they call it the third mind. So no matter what you believe, I'm giving you both sides. But both sides talk about it, the power of multiple people being in a room thinking about the same thing. Yeah. And it gives you like almost like a superpower, right? Because it's more heads and more consciousness. And so I see that a lot in the writing process. It's super cool to like get around someone who's like super talented and knows what they're doing, and just like watch each other just kind of like work and make something that's like so much cooler than we could have probably done by ourselves. And so,
well, so at your timing in your music career, your budding, blossoming music career, where do you see and what do you see for yourself? What do you have, an agenda? Do you have like goals, metrics? Like what is it when you're writing and you're just emoting, you're experiencing all these feelings, and like where do you want to go?
Yeah, at this stage, and how I feel currently, and it's so cliche, but it's like really is how I feel. And there's two things. Number one, I really want to have fun with this. Like I don't want to, obviously, like to excel, to be known, to like do all these things, to like have numbers or metrics or like have a song blow up are all like beautiful things. And I think they're a result of you being passionate about what you're doing. You don't have to like really like focus on them as much as just like really do you and do you well, and that will come kind of thing. But I think I'm more hyper focused on with my music is damn, I lost my train of thought again. I'm just gonna be honest, like, because I feel like,
do you see where you want to take it? You see the genre you're in. You're gonna dabble in different experiences. Live music, you see yourself performing.
Okay, so that was the main point. Thank you. The main point out of all of that was I want to have fun when I'm doing it. But the main thing that I really want to do is perform. Right. And it has nothing to do with the crowd just, whatever. There's this magical connection that I'm looking for. It's less of the praise, and it's more of, wow, we just had a moment together. And I miss that because I remember that as a pastor. Like I remember that as a speaker during Dream Beard Products. I spoke at IRCE, the largest internet retail conference in the world. I also spoke at like Retail X, same thing, like huge. And so I got to feel that like being on a stage, and I did that my whole life as a pastor, and I missed it. I missed that interaction with people, getting out into the world and like having your message affect people.
Yeah.
And I think that like that is what I'm excited about with music. Like I love writing, I love recording, all those kind of things are cool, but like when it comes down to it, like performing is truly what I'm like excited about, and I can't wait to do that. But like there's a process to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I need more songs to come out, and I need blah blah blah, and this and that, and it's like. But I'm hoping in the fall would be the earliest that I would probably tour with.
Well, and not everybody has the fortune to, you know, have this great, you know, breadth of friendships and all these folks that can just like kind of elevate and escalate your experience. So it's like, I started last year, and I think I'm going on tour year after that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I was thinking about being Taylor Swift's, like, you know,
you're right.
I'll open up.
You're right, man, and that's another great lesson is like, find your moment, and I've noticed that with like Dream Beard, when the products, like I felt the moment happening. I was like, this is something, like there's something to this, and then boom, and it's like find that moment, because like that's how I felt with music. It was like, had I started this like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I number one wouldn't be the same person projecting this type of experience. But it's like, now I'm ready, you know, now this is what I'm supposed to be doing, now this is happening. And so it's like, and it unfolds naturally, like there's like a flow to it. And that's happened with like my record deal. It like happened like very flowy. It was like a perfect deal. It like was the perfect, like, you know, it was just like laid out, like everything's just kind of laid out and stuff. And it's like, that's one thing I've learned in life in a more spiritual standpoint, is that going with the flow with life, moving fluidly, being playful in it has been like the most healthiest way for me to look at all things. And so same thing with music, man, is like I feel like I'm just in this flow state, and I'm just enjoying myself, and I'm just having fun, and I'm working hard as fuck. Like it doesn't mean you just dick off. Like I'm like there was like a week ago that I literally, me and Chris, before we went on tour, like every night I would come here and work in here, make holograms, and every night at 8 o'clock I'd go to his house, to the studio, and we'd work till like 4 in the morning. I would go to sleep at about 5:30 after I woke my son up to go to school, and then I would sleep till about 8 or 9, and then I would get up and do it all over again for 5 days straight, so we could record this song before we went on tour, which is hopefully coming out next. But what I'm saying is like go with the flow, but like get your shit done. Like you know what I mean? Like there's a fluidity of life of like ease, but like make shit shake at the same time.
What and the more I get to know you and all the lines that seem to cross in our worlds, what have you done to continue to propel yourself that, like, you know, certainly stay in the flow, you know, be water, fluid as such, but it's not always, you know, the moment to jump off. It's not always that peak of an experience. What has been your process in navigating kind of those lulls, those doldrums, those times that you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna chew on this gun for a minute, you know what I mean? Like
100%, man. I've had a lot of those. So it's like, where do I start? Because I've had those when I stopped Dream Beard. I've had those in the middle of Dream Beard, the product company I'm talking about. I've had those in production. I've had those in this building over the last 4 years. I've had those with music already. Like, you have those moments like I just talked about where you're spending a whole week making a song and it's super exciting, and then you have the lull and the weight of like, okay, it's got to be mixed, it's got to be mastered. This might be 6 months before I ever see this song like become a song. And so in those moments, that's very easy to get like, shit, like I'm never gonna do this, like I'm never gonna, and have that, like, obviously those voices that we all get, those intrusive thoughts that kind of come and go. And I think just the older I've gotten, through a lot of time, and we can talk about, obviously, like I've always been a spiritual person, but like meditation and things like that have taught me to identify those intrusive thoughts and like let them kind of just like, you know, like, see you later, like I'm not gonna attach to you. I know that, like, but it's also not living in this like blonde, like, you know, I don't want to say blonde, it's like, but like
laissez-faire attitude,
like,
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, yeah, because you have to be real too. It's all a balance. It's like you have to know that like life can be hard and that you're gonna hit snags and your song might take a year to come out. You got to be real and like know those things, so that way when it does hit you, you're just like, fuck, this is life, and I'm gonna conquer this. I'm not gonna succumb to this thing. You know, like it's just another thing, you know. I mean, here comes life again with another thing, and it's just like, there's been a lot of times where it's like you said, there's like a gun in the mouth moments, but I've gotten stronger to where like those don't happen as often. Like I've definitely had meltdowns. I've definitely had, you know, psychotic breakdowns. I've definitely been to the ER before years ago. Like I've had it all happen to me, and I have come out a stronger person. And so I just feel blessed that I can overcome those situations now through all kinds of stuff. I go to therapy, like all that shit, like it's mental health, right? And so it's like, because of that, when I hit those lulls, they're less lowy. Like I'm still human.
Like you go from this.
Yes, it's like
to a
this
little more
now.
of this.
It's like this. Yeah, that's a perfect way to explain it. Is it used to be like this, where I would just be like super.
It's a sine wave, you music nerds.
Exactly. but now, yeah, man, things are just like more like this, and yeah, man, it's nice, and it's not like, wow, look at me. If you're listening and you're in a lull, like this is your moment, man. Like fucking get out of it. However you have to, whatever you have to do. There's people. There's you. There's YouTube. There's inspirational things.
Yeah, you're not alone.
You're not
in
alone,
whatever it
dude.
is.
There's ways to reach out and shit. So
That's
it's like,
been my experience the same. And part of what I try to offer anyone in my camp, my world, anybody I interact with or whatever, is that, you know, things can look great, be great, but there's just those times where you're like, oh, this sucks. Like,
exactly.
oh my
dude.
goodness, like it couldn't get any worse. And then you're like, oh, it did.
Dude, yeah.
And so to live that, and I have this really wildly unhealthy optimism.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, certainly not laissez-faire, you know, happy-go-lucky, but it is a practiced, meditated part of me that those intrusive thoughts or those things, I'm like, yo, this doesn't serve me. And so it's not that I'm denying its reality.
Yeah.
I just will, you know, I can, you know, if you're going to look at it, if you stare at the sun, you're going to burn your eyes. You know, like put your eyes in the right direction and get moving. And that's been a big part. And so when I find individuals like yourself that are able to experience both the light and the dark, essentially, without lying to themselves, I always find a much more honest experience with those folks. And so it's something I'm learning and trying to identify in others so that I can surround myself with those people and then equally kind of just figure it all out and, you know, life as it comes. Like, maybe I'm a little over here right now, you know, but I feel like
dude. and I might get there too, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
it'll
That's
always
what I
happen
say about
again.
like being human. It's like, this is where I'm at currently, man. Like, dude, ask me tomorrow, I could be like, dude, I'm here. Like, I'm fucking here. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm here. You know, it's like, but yeah, man, you have to like constantly check yourself and realize it's a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
Like, and dude, this is my one little nugget of advice on this. It's like, stop worrying about the future and how it's going to be the best, how you're going to do things and accomplish things. Come back to the moment right now, where you're at in your living room, on your cell phone, in your car, watching this at lunch break. Like, wherever you're at, come back to that moment and start to make the best possible decision for your life in that moment. And if you continue to do that, like right now, the best possible decision for us is to do this podcast and to finish it and to do it well. And then after that, the best possible decision is probably to pack this shit up. And then the best possible decision is probably have a beer or something, you know, and then like whatever. And so it's like, if you just live your life like that, always, I truly believe it will lead to the best possible outcome. So you have to, so I've learned to just be like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there 5 years from now. Like, I don't know whatever, but I'm gonna set my intentions. So it's like, I wanna be a rock singer, you know, whatever. I'm gonna set those intentions, but instead of freaking out on how I'm gonna become a rock star, I just like, every day I wake up and I go like, what's the best decision I can make today to be a rock star?
You spend
like
10 minutes in the mirror.
Exactly. Dude, I'm gonna start doing that, dude. I'm like, this is really bad, dude. Just like,
Yeah, you know, you can write that down. That's yours.
yeah, dude, I'm gonna start using that. Like, so how do you do it? I spend every 10 days, 10 days, 10
I wake
minutes.
up. Well, then I imagine too, when you have a wife, when you have a child, there's you know so many more reasons to just take a minute and take yourself off that you know pedestal to say like my problems are the worst and I have this experience. It's like, all right, well, I'm a partner in a bigger picture here.
Yes.
And so coming back to that and grounding, I'm sure is hugely valuable. Yeah.
Huge, man. Yeah, like I said before, we've been married for 12 years Monday, and and I have a 7-year-old, and it's crazy because she married me as a pastor, and how much I've changed and how much she's changed. To grow with someone like that is a very beautiful experience, man. It's actually like one of the hardest and most rewarding things. Like it's like, which I think life's like that, right? It's like having a kid. It's super hard, but also super awesome. It's like super scary, but super euphoric. Like, you know, it's like there's just these dualities that happen within relationships. And so same thing with being married that long is like, there's some days that it's like, you know, it's the thing. It's like we were just talking about. And it's like the older you get, though, you learn to do this with your relationship more instead of like, And it's like, yeah, but that security and foundation that I have definitely has propelled my artist career. Like without my wife, I never would have been able to start Dream Beard, any of that. Like, you know, definitely a huge supporter.
How's her beard?
Hers is massive. She's got a spirit beard, like an invisible beard.
You come home, she's just...
Yeah, yeah. It's like
and your son's just in the mirror?
Yeah, that actually is my son. He's like, but yeah, man, definitely family is huge, and I definitely take that into consideration when I'm living life in every other aspect with, you know, music and holograms and all those kind of things. Like they're always in my mind. I'm like, how is this like affecting them? You know, am I there enough? Am I this? Am I that? You know, so it's always like a huge part of my life.
To go back to our experience together and a lot of the similarities along the way, what have you found? Because what I hear, and equally I think you've been kind of answering my question along the way, and we wear so many hats. We have so many different experiences and lives that bring us to these incredible opportunities. Like you talk to someone, they're like, if you're not, you know, if you want to be a welder, you weld every day. You just weld, and you were like, well, I'm doing so many different things. How have you managed to kind of keep those in concert and then progressively grow within all those same similarities? Like, I mean, like you're working in a studio here from the video side of things. You're singing and you're promoting and you're shooting and you know whatever. Yeah. It's all working together. Like, how have you balanced that along the way? Yeah,
man. You know, it's crazy. It's like you just like as you were saying it, I saw it visually. It's like it's almost like, you know, those old things in school where it's like a pie, like a circle, and you start putting the little webs out like this, and then do another circle, and then put the webs out and do another circle, and it's like how you storyboard. I can't remember what the term for it was, but that's kind of how I see my life in a lot of ways. It was like you start where you're at. So it's like I was, you know, whatever. I got kicked out of school, and was a really bad kid, but then I like started going to church, which led to that. So it was like, here's my bubble. We could call it the church bubble, you know. And it was like, and then from that, there was like these little pieces that came out from that, like music. It was like I learned that. So like, okay, boom, like let's create a thing here, and now this is music. And then over here, I learned how to speak better, you know, or whatever. And I was like, that's over here now. And then what happened is like over time, you learn how to like branch out from those things. And it's like, okay, cool, like I can do music, but like maybe I don't do this as much anymore. That's okay. That I can maybe make this bubble bigger now. So it's like where maybe this bubble was the biggest, this is where you started, it just slowly gets smaller and these other ones get bigger. And I also think it goes back to fluidity of like life. I would always try to identify what is the thing that's swelling the most in my life right now. Like, is it production? Is it music? Is it this? And it's like I identify with it, and then I like focus on it more. And then I just focus on it as long as possible. And then if I feel like it's starting to do this, then I'm like, okay, cool. It's time to maybe start like focusing in on here more. But I've always branched out from where I've been, which I think helps now be so symbiotic. Like everything's just like, everything I do kind of feeds itself and it works on itself. And it's because I think I originally started from where I was and just kind of, I didn't just negate everything and start over. I just started with what I had, and I like became something else and became something else through that.
It's really interesting that you describe it as that, where it would be a fun activity. You know, an exercise to literally do a little plot chart of like, this is where this was, and then line, and then see where the lines connect back to other new dots. They're like, oh, I'm only good at that because of this one.
Exactly.
And it's sometimes I find frustration in conversation with others. Not that I'm letting it affect me as much, but just the fact that when I, from other people's perspectives, pivot in such a way that they're like, you were doing this thing over here, but now you're doing it over here in this new, different way. Like, why don't you just stay in line? Why don't you just, and as far as I understand it, I'm like, this is the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I'm doing a different version of it, but as far as I'm concerned, it is.
You're still in the main bubble. You just got like a few different things.
little things,
yeah.
and so each of those, I describe it as tools in my toolbox. And so for a lifetime, you know, you're adding tools to a toolbox, and I don't know why this, hammer's useful. But sure enough, at some point, you pull that fucking hammer out, and you're like, God damn, I got a good hammer.
Yeah.
You know? And so things serve you as you add them to that toolbox. And so hearing you describe it in that way, it's a nice validating experience where I'm like, I'm just trying it all.
Hell yeah, dude.
No,
I think in this world, that's what we need. We need.
Isn't that what life's for? Just to try it, just to experience all of it and like learn from it?
Hell yes, that's what life is. If you're watching this right now and you're 12, 13, 40, 88, that's what life's about, dude, is trying things, experiencing things, having fun while you're doing it, be full of joy.
Fucking up.
Fuck up, have perspective when you fuck up, realize that you weren't the first person to fuck up, everyone fucks up. That's how we built wheels and life and buildings and shit. It's
in
like,
big green boxes.
Yeah, people fuck up, dude. We fucked this up a lot before it looked good. Like we had to try this hologram shit a lot before we got it dialed in to where we're at now, you know? And it's like, same thing with music. You know, there's been hours where I've been in the studio in here just screaming or singing or whatever for hours, just that sounds horrible until you get to a point where you're like, oh shit, like I think I'm dialing in right now, you know?
Well, I wouldn't agree to do your music video unless I liked your song, because if you've done a music video before, you listen to it over and over and over.
Over again.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I think part of my frustration, or at least, maybe not a fear necessarily, but it is a reality of, a life not lived, and it's a feeling like maybe I'm doing something wrong when it's like there is no wrong, so move past that. But then ultimately, like, to not be in pursuit of something that like was an experience I could have had. It was something I could have done, or like a life I could have lived. That I was timid or insecure about something, and I try to squash that and just be like, dude, just step out and be that, and let that take you where you need to go. Because I want to be a rock star. Like, I'll go 12 minutes in front of the mirror.
Exactly, dude. If I go 12 minutes, it's really gonna take it out.
Yeah. Oh no, that's great though.
It's
I'll
gonna
just
be the
hang
new
out with you guys.
P90X, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man.
No, that's fantastic. Well, I see the space. I see your career. The more I learn about you, the more I love you, and we're gonna continue on this wonderful quest wherever it's going. Lots of side quests.
Please, I love side quests.
And we'll get the gals together at a comedy night.
Dude.
Yeah, because your lady's a funny lady.
Dude, she is. She's super hilarious. We'll have you come out to a set. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, and so then we'll share the video because it'll already be out when this airs, and you guys can check it out. And then at some point in the future, I'll come back, you'll come back, and we'll do this again.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah. Maybe next time we'll be in a dog. You can come,
the whole time.
Sit in on.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
and
then T-Pain could be floating somewhere.
Yeah, dude. We should totally.
I'll edit him in floating over here.
Yeah, that would be dope, man. We definitely need to do that.
But that's podcast one for you. How was it?
Dude, that was sick, man.
Appreciate you. And then usually this is the period in the show where you can direct yourself to that mic and anything that you got coming up that is relevant to you or something you want to talk about.
Yeah.
It is your time to shine.
Okay, and that one?
Yeah, your choice.
All right. Man, what's up? Thanks so much for watching the podcast. If you want to check out more, you can go on my Instagram at Dreambeard. You can check out the hologram stuff at soapbox.us on Instagram as well, and Facebook. And we have all this stuff coming out in the next week or two. So if you want to follow along, obviously check us out on all those platforms. And it's gonna be sick.
Well, and then also too, we're gonna have to have you by the studio because I got this big, great table that everybody signs at the end of their interview. Please. So you'll have to come and fill in your thing. But that was it. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, dude.
Next time,
awesome.
gang.